Alright, I think I went ahead, this is this SCL example we're using TIA Portal version 17, and we are using FactoryIO, doing the assembler project. Got a couple of these YouTube videos we've been working on. Last week we did control for the pneumatic cylinder here for the part locator, and the idea was station DB was that if we put a 1 in here it would home. If we put a 12 in there, we're going to go to work position. If we put an 11, we're going to go to work position. If we put a 22, we'll go to work position. Or if we put it in a 21. Or if we put in something weird, 99, it'll just ignore it. Yeah. So I took that and basically wrote the same code again for the gate control. It's pretty straightforward, almost exactly the same thing. So let's do, I'd like to do some control for this emitter. Basically that if we tell it a 1, we're going to quote unquote home the station, which basically just involves making sure the output's off. Or if we tell it an 11, let's do a 12 because 12 is work. If we tell it a 12, then we're going to, 12 or a 22, we're going to emit the part. So let me add row. Let's go ahead and put this in here. This is actually, let's insert. Okay. So I just put our command in our DB. I got a little bit of fixing to do with these. We'll download that all at one time, but I wanted them to be accessible for the HMI, but we're not going to write to these from the HMI. We're only ever going to look at them. So we want to make, I did a little bit of organization under actuator control. Add new block, function block, and this would be emitter control. Sure. So I'm going to open up our actuator control and have them side by side, just kind of as a refresher. Okay, we're not going to worry about home position or work position. We are going to have a command, and that's going to be data type int. And then we're going to have our emit output. Okay, and then we still are going to have a step. Okay. Dang it. We are going to use these same constants. Okay, so we have a case statement, case of command, because we're going to interpret this command. If we have command done, basically do nothing. If we have a home command. We're going to say emit output equals false. Oh, it's got the wrong data type there. And then command, we're going to assign it the constant value command done. Okay. Oh, and we have our unknown command here. Okay. Now we could have a command that's called emit part. Maybe we'll change this to emitter output. Okay. Yeah, let's put command after that too. I think that kind of made it ambiguous last time. Okay, and in here we're going to have another case statement, because this is where we're going to do our sequence. Case of step. So the first thing we're going to do, I think this emitter, let me pull that back up and show how that works. I think this just needs a rising edge. You know, you don't have to hold it on for a long period of time or nothing like that. Yeah, ideally, maybe a person would put a photo eye at the end of their conveyor, and you would turn this on until you saw a part, and then you would turn it off. But I'm trying not to deviate a lot from this stock project. I do want to control these emitters because you have no way to stop the part here or back here. And then, so if you just are feeding them continuously, you got to do all sorts of wacky hacks to make sure that you don't overcrowd this station. Okay, so step one, we're going to say turn off output step. It's going to be an int. Okay. In that, it's going to be practically the same thing as before. And a lot of times this will already be in place, but we're just making sure the cost of one scan. If, we're going to say not. If not emitter output, as in it's off. Then we're going to say that step, and we're going to assign it, and we're going to call it emit step part, or emit part step. Okay. And if you get that, we're going to do a return. Okay. Now our next step is going to be called emit step part. This is step 0. This is step 1. This is almost all going to copy over the same. True. Okay. And then we're going to tell it to go to reset emitter step int u2 reset emitter step. So then we are going to step 2 basically the same as all this. False if not, and if it's done, then we're going to jump to we probably could have told it just from there to jump out. Well, no, because we would have got caught in the loop. Yeah, let's do step done just for some clarity. Did I do step done or command done? Done step. Okay. Oh, and then we also need to reset our command. Okay. The same kind of fast and dirty. We'll see if we need to do any debug on that. So we're going to open up our actuator control. I'm going to throw this emitter thing right at the start because it's really kind of our first actuator of the station. Emitter control. That doesn't need an overly special name. Okay. Okay, we are going to have emitter command data type int, and then it's a control insert. I don't think it is. Insert row control enter. We are going to have an emitter output data type bool. Nope. Dang it. And that compiled okay. Now we need to update this. Now we're going to point it to our output. Update block call. Okay, station 1 dB, actuator commands, emitter, and then we go to our PLC tags. Okay, let's download that. Because we've changed that dB in the order of it, we have to reinitialize those values. Because the environment's changed, we have to call that again in a different environment. That'll be fine. Okay. So let's see if I can remember what. We'll have to fix that gate. One was home. Oh, I'm going to turn on this conveyor to where it's running all the time. Yeah, force that on. Okay. And then the clamp, well, we're not worried about the clamp, but the gate, we want to give it a 12. Yeah. Can I mute this sound? Yeah, we'll turn it off for a minute. So, if I tell the emitter 12, okay, yeah, we emitted a part and we went back to 0. I'm going to open a watch table, and I'm going to make that emitter stay on all the time, and I'm going to see if the home will make it go back to false. Okay. Yeah, see, that's on all the time now, which that's okay. Because if I tell it to 1, yep, we turned it off. Okay. So, bases conveyor, let's turn that back on. Alright, yeah, so I can do this guy all day. Let's turn that back off, release that. So then, which we'll do that in the next video, we'll just make this one short for right now. We're going to tell the conveyor it's going to receive a command. Same thing, 1 will turn it off in case for some reason we get it stuck or latched in. Maybe 11 will tell it to run any part, not necessarily I guess from here, but to run until we get the falling edge of this sensor, or to run, if the 11, 12, 13, we'll have to figure out the numbers, to run until we see the falling edge of this sensor. So then that'll all cover over. And so we've got the emitters squared away, we've got the gates squared away, we've got the clamps squared away, and then that leaves us with this gantry, which is nothing overly in particular. Writing a home sequence, which if we have all of our home commands, the home sequence will be pretty easy. Maybe some interlocks, auto sequence. The manual control thing won't be big. It'll just say, you know, like we got to have this flipped to manual, and then on our HMI we can see these will pop up for manual control, and if we push the button, then we'll accept a write into here, you know, to do those things. But yeah, we're making progress. Yep. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have comments, corrections, if you want to work on the code, if you want to clean it up, if you want to tell me about how you do it, that's fine. You know, I'd love to listen and get your input on it. All right. Hope you have a good day.